Okay, we're just going to continue with equation solving because it's probably the most important thing you can get out of your math, the most useful thing out in the real world. So I do want to cover it a little more towards the end of the year here while we gear on down. Okay, so it's the same thing like last week. We're just solving equations, but we have variables on both sides. So the first thing you always want to do is check for any like terms to combine, and we don't have any. So now let's focus on getting our variable terms on one side, and then our just like regular numbers or constant terms to the other. So I'm going to try to go ahead and get my variable terms on the left. So that means I need to do something about this negative 4n to remove it, right? So if I add, right, 4n to both sides, and I've got to do it right under the other variable term, I'm going to end up with, well, this 13 can come right down. I never touched it. Negative 7n plus 4n. So negative 7 plus 4. You owe me 7. You have 4 in your pocket. You would be down 3. Oh, wow. 3n equals 1. And then negative 4 plus 4 is nothing. That's why we did that. So that's really sloppy, but whatever. So now I have my variable term on the left. I didn't have to do that. I could have pulled them both to the right. I just went with it. Okay. So now this 13, this constant, needs to be moved to the right. So what I can do is a positive 13. I'm going to subtract 13 from this side and from this side. And what I'm going to end up with is, well, 13 minus 13 is nothing. But don't forget, this variable term here, it's not just 3n. It is a negative 3n. Equal sign comes down. And 1 minus 13. Like you owe me 13 and have 1 in your pocket. You still owe me 12. So now we've brought it down to we have one final step. Some students really want to add 3, but that's, you got to ask what's happening to the variable. That is negative 3 times n. So we undo the times through division. Right? Because then negative divided by negative is positive. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So technically it's like 1n or just n. Negative 12 divided by negative 3 is 4. So when you enter your answer into Edulastic, just put 4. All right. It doesn't matter. I'll go ahead and I will put, well, first of all, I'll put a 1. I can put my variables on the left. That's how most students are comfortable. So this 3v, let's focus on moving our v terms first. Our 3v, it's a positive. We're going to zero it out by subtracting it. Right? And 1 minus 3, negative 2v. And this negative 1 needs to come down. Equal sign. 3 comes down. Ew. And 3v minus 3v is nothing. So now I need to deal with this negative 1. That's a constant term. It does not vary. It's constant. It's a negative 1, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. When I've got negative 2v. 1 minus 1 is nothing. And 3 plus 1 is 4. And that's negative 2 times v. So we divide, because negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. And then v equals 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. All right, now let's focus. We have no like terms to combine. Let's focus. Let's get our variable terms to the left. That's how students usually prefer. It doesn't have to be like that. But so this negative 4x, We have to add 4x to both sides to make it go away from there. Okay? Because now, right, -4 plus 4 is nothing. So that's good. That's good news. All right, so this 2 comes down. -2 plus 4. You owe me $2, but you have 4 in your pocket. You would still have 2 by the time we settled up. Cool. All right, now let's get our constant terms to the right. So this 2, it's a positive 2. Let's subtract it. So you see, we're starting to do like basically the same rhythm over and over again. 2 minus 2 is nothing. Positive 2x comes down, equal sign. You owe me $12 and borrow 2 more. And this is here we would divide both sides by 2. And x equals negative 14 divided by 2 is 7. So your final answer would be -7. Okay, it's a -1. Let's get our variables to the left. So this 2n should be subtracted off from both sides. This 9 would come down. And -1 minus 2, you owe me $1. You borrow 2 more. Down 3. And this -3 comes down. But this 2 minus 2 is nothing. Now let's get our constant terms to the right. So this is a positive 9, so we would subtract 9 from both sides. 9 minus 9 is nothing. -3n, don't lose your negatives. That's usually largely where I see mistakes occur. You owe me 3, borrow 9 more. -12. And this is -3 times n, so we divide. That way that becomes a 1. And you're left with n equals negative divided by a negative is a positive. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Final answer